Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this will be the monthly vlog for April. I do this once a month to give you an idea of where the channel is, what I'm planning on doing, and how I'm going to change things up. So let's get right into it. Now, I wanted to start off this month a little bit different in giving you guys some information on exactly what's going on behind the scenes, and I've got no problem of posting this image with some of the earning information as well as how my videos did in general. There's always this weird disconnect between creators and viewers regarding exactly what's going on in terms of earnings, views, so on and so forth with a channel, and rather than try to explain it and try to, dodge the question, I just put the information up there for you guys to see, showing you exactly what the estimated revenue is, so on and so forth. Needless to say, if I'm trying to make a career of this, it's not going exactly well. Now, YouTube takes time, I know that, but I have been at this at 1.5 years, and the fact of the matter is, sooner or later, I will run out of finances. I'm still okay for the time being, but I really do need to sort of push it to the next level. Now, thankfully, I do have $37 a month for Patreon, and I do appreciate the patrons out there who are donating to the channel, because that is a constant source of income and doesn't have the fluctuation like ad revenue rates do. And to be honest, I prefer the Patreon method. There is a lot of fluctuations that happen with ad revenue, and a lot of the videos you see out there are drama, clickbait, things that, are trying to get 1 million views, 100 million views, and things like that. And I'm not going to create a mountain out of a molehill. This is not what this channel is for. I'm going to give you guys the straight hard facts about exactly what a game is, what its strengths are, what its weaknesses are, and I'm not going to put fluff on top of it. I'm not going to overhype a game. I'm going to give you exactly what the game is. Now, I will point out a couple of things that I noticed in terms of my analytics. One, Japanese games and my channel seem to work together. You'll notice at the top 10 videos, I've got The Witch and the 100 Knight, Senran Kagura, Pokken Tournament, although technically I would consider that more of an American title. Yes, it's Pokemon, but it's not necessarily the Japanese titles like you'd think of anime titles and things like that. But Rabby Ribby, Azure Striker Gunvolt, even though it's a very, very old video, it's still hitting in terms of the views in question. So Japanese titles seem to do well on the channel in general. Now, people may look at this and say, well, all your reviews are doing very well. Yeah, they should be doing well in terms of the other videos in question because they're the more popular videos in terms of games, things like XCOM 2, The Witch and the 100 Knight. So even though there is a correlation there, I'm not taking anything of that in particular. Now, you may look at those numbers and think, well, Dragnix is probably down on YouTube and down on the channel in general. And while I do have some elements of that, the weird thing about it is that I've sort of come to a self-realization on it. I've said before that if this doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And I think that was me trying to tell myself that if it fails, that I'm going to be okay with it, not necessarily believing that. But the thing is that I have grown as a creator. I have grown as a person and grown in terms of my knowledge of video games. And I really do enjoy this. Don't get me wrong. I will do everything to keep this in terms of a job. I don't want to go back to a corporate kind of job in terms of software engineering. I like software engineering, but I hate these sort of connections that come because of it. The whole, you have to do this kind of stuff in order to make it in the world, even though it's not necessarily the greatest of, moral boundaries at this point. The idea that, your skill doesn't necessarily translate into success. Yeah, you may see some parallels here, but at least I'm in control of myself here as opposed to somebody else being in control. And control is a common problem that I have in terms of my life. So what does that mean for April for the channel? Well, one of the things I have to take care of, and no matter what, I've got to figure out my PR situation. The fact is that I do a lot of PR in terms of posting to places like Google+, Facebook, and YouTube, and even buy some ads on YouTube, for example. There have been situations where one of my friends saw a Facebook ad that I put up in terms of the channel. But with that said, that only has limited return, and unfortunately, it isn't necessarily bringing in the big numbers. Now, what does that mean? I'm not sure, and that's the big problem. How I promote the channel in terms of this is a review channel. This is a place where you can get the information on a game. It's not a Let's Play channel. It's not a hype channel. This is the straight truth. Places like Total Biscuits channel, places like Super Bunny Hop's channel, that's very similar to the content that I do. How I bring people in is a really big question mark, because people do like the hype. People do like, the drama, and I stay away from the drama. I don't see the point of the drama, and some of the most depressing things that I see in terms of YouTube is people like, for example, Keemstar doing so well when they live on nothing but drama. And while there is a place in the world for discussing issues and things like that, it's exploiting that drama that I don't think I can ever do. The morals that I was raised in terms of the type of person that I am, it won't allow it. People have talked to me like, why don't you do more collabs with people? Well, the kind of content that I do, the strength is that sort of analysis portion, and that doesn't necessarily do well in terms of a collab video at times. I am a person who likes putting his thoughts on paper and making a script. I'm not necessarily the off-the-cuff kind of person, even though at times I can do that very well. The fact is that I don't do it consistent enough where I feel comfortable with it. And the fact is, collabs don't necessarily bring the return that you would hope they do, especially in the nowadays YouTube. Back in the couple years ago, yeah, collabs made a huge difference, but now, not so much. I think the answer to what I'm going to do over the next month or so is to be more aggressive. Not in terms of attacking other channels, for example. That's not me. More so offering the opinion in terms of, I disagree with this review and here's why. You can see some of the content here. Not spamming, but offering that opinion, offering that information so that it creates discussion. I think that's where a lot of things can come from. If you can get a discussion going, it gets people involved in terms of, oh, what is this back and forth? And I think that is where the biggest boon for the channel can come from in terms of that alternative opinion. With that said, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that effectively. I need to go to those mid-level, those mid-high level publishers and be like, look, give me a review copy for your game. Here's my body of work. This is the type of quality that you can expect. But not only that, sell them on the fact that they want a review on my YouTube channel. The fact is that I'm not going to fluff things. I'm going to be completely honest with people. But on the flip side of that, I'm also going to try to match the game with people. Even if I don't necessarily like the game, I will try to find that audience to be like, yeah, this game will work for them. Try to sell them on that and say, hey, look, there is an audience out there. Let me find it for you. And on top of that, in terms of connecting with PR people, I also planned a little bit better this upcoming month. I usually have a whiteboard that I put down what games that I plan on covering during a specific time frame, but not necessarily specifically when I'm going to edit the footage, when I'm going to play the game in question. It's more of a general kind of area at this point. This time around, I made it specific. I'm like, I'm going to cover this game on this date. I'm going to get this game done in terms of the video editing on this date, so it's ready by X, Y, and Z. Hopefully that goes along with getting review copies so that I don't have to move things around. But the fact is that I am a little bit more prepared this time around. I took about a half a day just, going through the games and being like, I want to cover this, I want to cover this, I want to cover that. Yeah, there are holes, but I also have a list of back games that I can cover during that time. And I need to be more confident with myself. The fact is that I think the quality of videos that I have in terms of what I put out there is good. It's great, in fact, in my opinion. Now, I do want more feedback from everyone in terms of pushing it to the next level. But compared to some of the other stuff that I see out there, I think my stuff blows it out of the water in terms of some of the review stuff that I do. With that said, that doesn't necessarily come over in terms of the videos. That doesn't necessarily come over in terms of my promotion of things. Not to say that I want to be arrogant, but more so, yeah, you should look at this because I do think it will help you. And not being afraid that, there's going to be negative consequences. I want feedback. I want negative feedback in terms of you didn't do this right so that I can improve. But I don't think my mindset has allowed that at this point because my content is safe in some ways. I've got to find the missing parts of me in terms of, like, for example, the older Let's Tries. I know the first impressions and the reviews are what I focus on right now, and I'm going to keep on doing that. With that said, once in a while, a Let's Try makes sense in terms of one continuous segment, but for some reason, I have been unable to do that kind of content. Even now, I'm struggling with this vlog because I keep on sort of going over my words and keep on stumbling over things that I wasn't doing before, and I'm not exactly sure what has changed. Granted, the outcome of the quality of the video is a lot higher right now, but it's also taking a lot more takes, and I don't know exactly what is causing that at this point. Now, that's a lot of information that I just put out there in terms of me, the channel, and everything behind the channel. And I understand that for some people, that is something that they really didn't need to know. And of course, you probably skipped at this point, so you're probably not listening to me say that right now. With that said, for those who are still listening, understand that I do want you to see that side of me, the person who is struggling to get this content out, but is working his ass off in order to do it so that you guys can benefit from it, so that the gaming world and the developers and the publishers can benefit from it. I do want to see better, coverage in terms of games media. I don't want more Kotakus of the world. I don't want more Destructoids of the world where I question the review. I question the coverage, if it's biased or not, or doesn't look at it at a different angle. I really want this to be something that will help benefit the overall structure, as small as I am right now. Other stuff. TechRaptor, I did step down as the lead video editor there. Nick Mullett is now the lead video editor. The reason for that is a couple-fold. One, the kind of situation for a lead video editor is, putting in procedures and things like that, and that's not me necessarily. I want to make the content in question, but more so, I want to put more content into this channel. I want to focus on this channel, and I think the sort of multi-focus has hurt me, despite the fact that I can get review copies for TechRaptor. I do think that has hurt me at times, and so I don't necessarily think that it was a good fit at that point. I talked with Rutledge. Rutledge had talked to me about, what exactly is going on. And honestly, it was a good thing for both parties at this point. Now, I still will write for TechRaptor in terms of news, investigations, in terms of things like YouTube, and I'm looking at a Dark Souls 3 review copy problem right now. That's a little bit weird, but you still can take a look at their content, and I would advise you to take a look at that content. Don's a really good editor. There's a lot of good people over there, and they are growing. I do want to stream a little bit more on the YouTube side of things. It is never going to be my forte. The thing is, edited, scripts are the kind of things that I do on the channel right now. And while I can have, some funny reactions and some situations that are comical to say the least, like for example, the bug that happened with Slain on the last live stream, the thing is that it's not going to be the kind of content that you can expect on a regular basis, at least for right now. But I will try to do it because people do seem to want it, despite the fact that I'm not necessarily entertaining in any sense. And I also want to take more questions at the end of this. If you have any questions about exactly what I'm doing, what I'm planning on looking at, please let me know in the comments below and I will answer them. I may set up an Ask FM or something along that lines, because I know that a lot of people have questions for me individually, and I know that people could use those answers in a global, kind of scale at this point. The fact is that I do get some of the same questions over and over again, and that does take a little bit of time at times. All right, that's enough about the channel for now. I'll let you guys go on your way if you're still listening to this. Slain should be the video that goes up on the channel on Monday. I don't know if it's going to be a first impressions or a game design video. There's a lot in Slain in terms of bad game design decisions or execution that I need to hit. I just don't know if I want to do a formal review or just focus on the game design portion. So I'll figure that out and you'll see me Monday. See y'all later. Thanks for watching. Like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe if you want more content like this. In the description below, you'll find the Steam review accompanying this vid, along with social media that you can follow me on, Twitter, Google+, and Facebook groups. And if you want to support the channel, click that Patreon on the left of the screen. And remember, keep on gaming.